Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today we'll be talking about the birth or the Nativity angel, drawn from Agrippa's three books of occult philosophy. Today I'll be talking about how to derive the name of your Nativity angel. This is the angel that governs your birth chart. Now, this has nothing to do with the Shem angel that was the sun at the time of your birth. This is a little bit different. Today we're reading Agrippa's three books of occult philosophy. He talks about three. If you go to Agrippa's three books of occult philosophy, book 3, chapter 22, he talks about three different types of angels. Now, this has nothing to do with Lazar Linnaean. He tries to draw kind of a similar thing in the science of Kabbalah, but this has nothing to do with that. He makes up these 20-minute cycles and these every 72-day cycles and 5-day cycles. They have nothing to do with the classical tradition. Now, that's not to say it's necessarily wrong, but it is something that Lazar Linnaean is making up. But he was inspired by Agrippa, but this has nothing to do with the Shem angels, the way I'm talking about it here. This is something a little bit different. Today, we are reading the three books of occult philosophy, and I'm going to show you how to derive the name of the angel of your nativity. This angel has to do with the course of your life, with the lessons you need to learn, with your strengths and weaknesses, and kind of your own self-actualization. The angel of your nativity governs your entire birth chart. It's not just the sun or the moon or the ascendant. The nativity angel of Agrippa governs many different factors in your birth chart placed together. So this, as I'm talking about it here and as Agrippa talks about it, this is not connected with the Shem angels. This is something a little bit different. While the angel that governed the sun at your birth could be seen as an angel especially connected with you, this is not the same thing as the nativity angel. And I'm going to talk about a very simple method. Well, it's not very simple, but a method whereby you could find the name of the angel of your nativity. So if we go to Agrippa's three books of occult philosophy, book 3, chapter 22, that there's a threefold keeper of man. And see, this is something that I don't like about Lazar Linnaean's La Science Kabbalistique, because it confuses a lot of people. He's drawing from Agrippa and trying to graft it on to the Shem angels. So as I'm talking about it here, this has nothing to do with Linnaean. It has nothing to do with the Shem angels. This is something distinct. Although this is what Lazar Linnaean was drawing from. This is different, okay? So Agrippa talks about that we each have three angels that correspond to the three-world model or tripartite model. So you have the mundane world, and this is where Agrippa talks about the angel of your profession. The angel of your profession. So if you're a doctor, an angel of healing. If you're a teacher, an angel of learning and speaking. If you are if you're in the army, there would be an angel of warriors. If you work on a farm, there'd be an angel of agriculture. If you work in some modern type of thing like IT or something, you'd have to find an angel that could be associated with communication, things like that. So there's the angel of your profession that is associated with the material world. The second world is the nativity angel that governs the placement of the whole heavens at your birth. This angel has to do with the lessons you learn in this life, and your own kind of strengths, and you know, kind of bringing yourself up in life, right? And then third is the holy angel sent from God. This is entirely divine, from the super celestial or divine realm, Agrippa's third world, the highest realm, and that has to do with the promptings of the soul. So again, I'm not saying anything bad about the science of Kabbalah, but this is kind of what he's trying to mimic in the 1800s, this idea. But I would say that these things are distinct. But let's look at what Agrippa has to say. So if you go to Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, book 3, chapter 22, that there's a threefold keeper of man, and from whence each of them proceed. Every man hath a threefold good daimon, as a proper keeper or preserver. The one whereof is holy. That's your highest, from the highest realm. One whereof is holy. Another of the nativity, which we're going to talk about here, how to calculate the name. Another of the nativity. And the other of the profession. Again, these could be associated with Agrippa's 3-world model or tripartite model. The holy daimon is one, according to the doctrine of the Egyptians, assigned to the rational soul, not from the stars or planets, but from a supernatural or divine cause, from God himself, the president of daimons, being universal, above nature. This doth direct the life of the soul, and doth always put good thoughts into the mind, being always active in illuminating us, although we do not always take notice of it. But when we are purified and live peaceably, then it is perceived by us. Then it doth, as it were, speak with us, and communicates its voice to us, being before silent, and studies daily to bring us to a sacred perfection. Also, by the aid of this daimon, we may avoid the malignity of a fate, which being religiously worshipped by us in honesty and sanctity, as we know was done by Socrates, the Pythagoreans think we may be much helped by it, as by dreams and signs, by diverting evil things and carefully procuring good things. Wherefore the Pythagoreans were wont with one consent to pray to Jupiter, that he would either preserve them from evil, or show them by what genius doth here by what daimon it should be done. Now the daimon of the nativity, which we're talking about today, of the nativity, which is called the genius, doth here descend from the disposition of the world, and from the circuits of the stars. That's the second world of Agrippa's model, the astrological realm, which were powerful in his nativity. Hence there be some that think when the soul is coming down into the body, it doth out of the choir of the daimons naturally choose a preserver to itself, nor only choose this guide to itself, but hath that willing to defend it. This being the executor and keeper of the life, doth help it to the body, and takes care of it, being communicated to the body, and helps a man to that very office in which the celestials have deputed him, being born. So it helps you to achieve your life's purpose. Whosoever therefore have received a fortunate genius are made thereby virtuous in their works, efficacious, strong, and prosperous. Wherefore they are called by the philosophers fortunate, or luckily born. Now the daimon of the profession is the material world, the bottom world of the 3-world or tripartite model. Now the daimon of the profession is given by the stars, to which such a profession or sect, which any man hath professed, is subjected, which the soul, when it being made to choice in this body, or to take profession being changed. Then according to the dignity of the profession, we have daimons of our profession more excellent and sublime, which successively take care of man, which procures a keeper of profession, as he proceeds from virtue to virtue. When therefore a profession agrees with our nature, there is present with us a daimon of our profession like unto us, and suitable to our genius, and our life is made more peaceable, happy, and prosperous. But when we undertake a profession unlike or contrary to our genius, our life is made laborious and troubled with disagreeing patrons. So if you choose a profession that's not in keeping with the angel of your profession, like your true purpose, then you're going to have problems. So it falls out that some profit more in any science or art or office in a little time and with little pains, when another takes much pains and studies hard, and all in vain. And although no science, art, or virtue be to be contemned, yet that thou must live prosperously, carry on thy affairs happily in the first place, know that thy good genius and thy nature, and what good the celestial disposition promises thee, and God the distributor of all these, who distributes to each as he pleases, and follow the beginnings of these, profess these, be conversant in that virtue to which the Most High Distributor doth elevate and lead thee, who made Abraham excel in justice and clemency, Isaac with fear, Jacob with strength, Moses with meekness and miracles, Joshua in war, Phinehas in zeal, David in religion and victory, Solomon in knowledge and fame, Peter in faith, John in charity, Jacob in devotion, Thomas in prudence, Magdalene in contemplation, Martha in officiousness. Therefore, in what virtue thou thinkst thou canst most easily be proficient in, use diligence to attain to the height thereof, that thou must excel in one, when in many thou canst not. But in the rest endeavor to be as great a proficient as thou canst. But if thou shalt have the overseers of nature and religion agreeable, thou shalt find a double progress in of thy nature and profession. But if they shall be disagreeing, follow the better, for thou shalt better perceive at some time a preserver of a most excellent profession than of nativity. So he's saying that we have, like there are three worlds in Agrippa's model, we have an angel of each. Here in the material world, we have an angel of our profession. And he says that if we try to work in a trade or a profession that disagrees with our angel, we're going to have problems. Whereas if we're in our proper place in the world, doing what we're meant to do as our profession, we'll prosper because it agrees with our angel. Second world up, the astrological realm, you have the angel of your nativity. Now beyond profession, this angel governs this whole incarnation or life. The lessons you need to learn, your strengths and weaknesses. This angel, more than profession, this second angel helps us to achieve what we're meant to achieve in this life, our purpose for being. And then third, beyond all this, is the divine or holy angel that is associated with like our striving to the divine. So that is Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy. Book 3, chapter 22. Now, if we go to 26, he gives many different ways of obtaining the name of your nativity angel. And I'm not going to read all of these, except I'll read this one part. There are also the Arabians and many others, and some Hebrews. He find out the name of a genius by the places of the 5 Hyligians, and making projection always from the beginning of Aries, and the letters being found out according to the order of the Hyligians, with the astrologers, being reduced into a known order, and being joined together, make the name of a good genius. But they draw the name of an evil genius from the opposite Hyligian places, project being made from the first degree of Pisces against the order of the signs. So what does this mean? The name of your nativity angel. So what you do is, it's best to have an Excel spreadsheet for this. Thank God for modern technology with an Excel spreadsheet. And I think you can probably find some spreadsheets like this online that help you. You're going to need your birth chart. And this is to get the name of your nativity angel. This angel governs not just the sun at your birth, but the sun, the moon, the ascendant, the part of fortune, the syzygy. So all of these together give the spirit that governs your whole birth chart, okay? The angel of your nativity. Now, I'm going to warn you, this isn't simple. The way this is done, according to Agrippa, he gives different methods. But this part where he talks about the way of the Arabians, I found to be the simplest. What you do is, one way is to put the Hebrew letters beginning at the ascendant and moving through the houses. But this way, with the Hyligians, he's talking about beginning at the 0 degrees of Aries is Aleph. 1 degree Aries would be Beit. 2 degrees Aries would be Gimel. 3 degrees Aries would be Dalet. Okay, so what you do is you take an Excel spreadsheet, you have 360 lines, 360 degrees in a zodiac or in your birth chart, and you're going to put the Hebrew letters repeating through it. So beginning at 0 degrees Aries, you have Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Tzadi, Kol, Fresh, and Tav. No finals. And then at 22 degrees Aries, you begin again Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Tzadi, Kol, Fresh, and Tav. So you just repeat the 22 Hebrew letters in 360 lines. So roughly what you have is you have every single degree of the zodiac has a Hebrew letter. So what you're doing is you're beginning at 0 degrees Aries and you're putting the Hebrew letter Aleph. The next degree, the letter Beit. The next degree, the letter Gimel. So you're putting the 22 Hebrew letters repeating over and over 360 degrees, right? So 10 degrees Aries is going to be letter Tet, for example. So what you do is you put the Hebrew letters beginning at Aries, and, each sign has 30 degrees. So you're going to put Aleph all the way to Tav, and then, at 22 degrees Aries, you're going to begin again Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, and then all the way to Tav, and you're just going to repeat this 360 times. So you have a Hebrew letter for each degree of the zodiac. Then you find the 5 Hyligians. You look at your natal chart, look at where the sun is. What degree is the sun? So if the sun is at 10 degrees of Taurus, that's going to be line 40. You look at what Hebrew letter that is. Then you look at the placement of the moon. What degree is the moon? Let's say that is in 2 degrees of Cancer. So you look at, what is that, 91, line 91, you're going to find a Hebrew letter. So your sun, look at the degree of your sun, that's the first Hebrew letter of your nativity angel name. Then you look at the placement of the moon. You look up what degree that is in what Hebrew letter. Next, you have the ascendant. What degree of the zodiac is on the ascendant? That is rising in the east, on the cusp between the 12th and 1st houses. That gives you the third Hebrew letter of the name. So you have the sun, moon, ascendant. Then you have the part of fortune, which is basically, if it's a day chart, then you're going to add up the degrees of the ascendant, your moon minus the sun. If it's a nighttime chart, you're going to add up the degrees of the ascendant, the sun plus the sun minus the moon. So, for example, it's a lot to explain. They're part of fortune calculators. Basically, you put the Hebrew letters beginning in Aries and you repeat the 22 Hebrew letters again and again until you have 360 degrees, each with a Hebrew letter. You find what degree your sun is in the zodiac, that's the first Hebrew letter. The moon, that's your second Hebrew letter. Your part of fortune, that's your next Hebrew letter. No, the ascendant. So sun, moon, ascendant, part of fortune. Then what's called the syzygy is the last letter. The syzygy is the degree of the zodiac of the previous full or new moon, whichever came closest. The moment the moon became full or new. So the moment that the moon became 100% full or 0% luminosity new, closest to your birth date. That's the syzygy. So I know this sounds really complex, but this is a very learned type of magic that takes an understanding of Hebrew and astrology and all of this. So basically, the five Heiligans are the sun, moon, ascendant, part of fortune, and the syzygy, which is the where the moon was at the exact moment it became 100% full or 0% luminosity is new, whichever came closest to the moment before your birth. So I know that sounds pretty complex, but I think that there are probably some spreadsheets out there where you can find it. But basically, you get an Excel spreadsheet, you repeat the 22 Hebrew letters over and over until you have 360 lines. Then you look at your birth chart. What degree was the sun? That's the first Hebrew letter. What degree was the moon? That's the second letter in the name of your nativity angel. What degree is on the ascendant? That's the third letter of your angel name. What is your part of fortune? You take the degree of the ascendant, which is the degrees of the whole zodiac. For example, if the cusp of Cancer is on the ascendant, then that would be 90. Okay, and then you look at, if it's a daytime chart, where was the moon? So if the moon was at, I don't know, 0 degrees Libra, that'd be 180. So you would add 90 plus 180. So, you know, that would give you, what did I say? Dang it. 90 plus 180. That'd be 270, and then you subtract from that the sun, if it's a day chart, and let's say the sun is at, so 170, let's say the sun is at 0 degrees Gemini, so that would be, I can't do math right now. I hate that. It'd be 60, yeah. So minus 60, so 110 degrees would be the part of fortune. And there are calculators to find that, your part of fortune. You can look up these calculators online. It can tell you your part of fortune without doing all the math. But then you would know that 110 degrees out of your 360, that's the degree of your part of fortune. The syzygy, again, is what degree the moon was in the moment it became full or new, closest to the time before your birth. So these are the five Heiligans. So again, you project the Hebrew letters onto the 360 degrees of the zodiac. You find your sun, moon, ascendant, part of fortune, and syzygy. And this gives you a 5 Hebrew lettered name to which you add El or Yah. And that's how you can find the name of your nativity angel. So that is finding the name of your nativity angel, and then you can begin working with that angel. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I just wanted to share. And again, we're taking the information from the 3 books of occult philosophy, and we're making this practical. We're looking at 16th century ceremonial magic. So that's just a quick video for Patreon. I hope everyone's doing well. And I will see y'all in the next video. All right. Have a great day, y'all.